you know what it is, Paul? I've been ill for the last 2 weeks, right? But that was probably the most painful last-minute goal in a while. Is it a foul on Newcastle for when he's trying to defend it? And also after that, is it a foul on the goalkeeper? It's very split opinions from what I've seen on Twitter. Very split opinions between the 3 or 4 of us.
Right, hi everyone, so we're using a clip-on mic because our camera's currently being fixed, if you're wondering, on the previous video. But we'll get on, obviously, with the final word. We've got a few different things we're going to hear from Owen. A Spurs fan, a well-known Spurs fan, claims that Harry Kane is a lot better than Alan Shearer. Of course, we'll talk about the game as well. But let's get on with the game. We'll hear from Seabrew shortly as well. The lineups, first of all. Obviously, a couple of the previews earlier on this week, Isha in particular, I wanted to say Dwight Gale. Were you generally happy with it?
Yes and no. I was happy that Fernandes came in. I would have been happy if Fernandes or Dummett came in as centre half. I think today, looking at today's game, Joe Linton needs some help. He really does need some help going forward, and maybe next game against West Ham either takes him out or he gives him a little bit more help with Dwight Gale going forward or someone like that, because it is very tough for him. But before the game kicked off, I was relatively happy, yes.
Andy Carroll's getting a last minute winner, man, at West Ham. So overall, it was to be expected, Fernandes to come in. There wasn't really any surprises, but I agree with Isha. I would like to say could Gale come in, at least score 2 up top, or be a little bit more braver. But the first half, you must have been quite content with it, fairly happy that we're 1-0 up going into half time, and we looked. What I noticed is that we're a little bit higher up than what we're playing. We had a lot more of the ball than what we normally do, and we're centre-backs were taking throw-ins. I know it's small things, but they go a long way.
Yeah, I thought the first 25 minutes, I thought it was fairly even. I thought both sides, obviously we had the chance with Almiron, but Wolves didn't really threaten us. Anything that was happening, it was going straight to Dubravka without any pace, really. So I was relatively happy. But I think 5 minutes before we actually scored, from then till half-time, I thought we were really, really good. I thought we were passing the ball really well. We kept the ball. Wolves were pressuring us, which was bit different when instead of us pressuring them in the first 20 minutes or so. And I thought we thoroughly deserved a 1-0 lead going into half time. If you base it on the last 20 minutes of the half, fantastic ball from Fernandes, and Lascelles is there to put it away. If Joe Linton could see that, that'd be great. But no, look, thoroughly deserved it going into half time. But we needed that second goal because we haven't scored more than 1 goal this season.
If I did a record today, because if we didn't score today, it would have been the club's worst start out of 10 games in terms of goals in the history. So we've got a goal, thankfully. And when the lads came back out second half, for me, Newcastle just locked the door and said, no, you're not coming in. It was like, shut up shop. Shut us, we're down. We'll try and nick 3 points. And it was all Wolves. Although you mentioned already, they didn't really carve out massive opportunities. It was an error which led to them scoring.
I can't remember Dubravka making a difficult save. I found a difficult save for me is where Dubravka, you go, wow, that's a great save, or wow, good save, Dubravka. There was nothing like that, and it is disappointing that he makes the mistake after obviously the great news of signing a new 6-year deal at the club, which we'll mention on the radio show tonight. But look, it is disappointing because if you look at it just from seeing the 2 goals, you think, well, that's 2 points dropped. But I don't get why we shut up shop straight away. If it was the last 20 minutes and it was still 1-0, I could probably understand it, because obviously 20 minutes ago, needing a goal, Wolves needing to pressure us and get a goal, and we can probably get the counter-attacks. We have the players to do that if they're at their best. But yeah, it was really disappointing because it's not a difficult cross, I don't think.
Yeah, he comes out and tries to claw it and he just drops it, and then and it just there's a tap in.
What you got to do is
punch it.
I don't like it when keepers try to do that with one hand, because
he's not a basketball player.
No, punch it away. If you're not sure you can't catch it, if your defender's a bollocking you can just say, look, I wasn't going to catch it with one hand. I want to punch it away. We can defend it. We were defending crosses all afternoon. Willems was getting heads on the ball. Clark, Lascelles, they were all doing their job. So no, I was just disappointed with the way that we conceded. But we needed to be a bit more brave in the first 20 minutes of the second half, but we weren't.
I actually thought the centre-backs were actually pretty decent today as well. Of course, everyone's going to analyse it. You talk about match of the day and stuff. They'll be analysing another red card, VAR and all of that. But we haven't seen it back yet because obviously we're still outside the ground. We will in the next half hour or so. But right now, did it look like a red card, or was it harsh, or what was your? Because obviously you're in the Gallagher and I'm in the south east Gallagher, which is difficult to see that far in the centre.
I personally thought it was a red card because it just looked very similar to Hayden's. Now, I could be completely wrong, but if it was that massively wrong, VAR would have overturned it, you would have thought.
But you've seen 3 Wolves players go wild, didn't you? And that normally indicates something's wrong.
Yeah, look, especially there was a few crunchy tackles in the last 5 minutes before that. So, no, I've got no complaints. From what I saw from where I was sitting, it looked like a red card, unfortunately. I thought Sean Longstaff was having a really good game up to that point. I think he knew himself, though, because he
didn't know Newcastle players appealed, really. Just the captain.
No, and that tells you straight away. If Sean Longstaff himself's not really appealing, he knows he's just mistimed it, or he hasn't got there first. No, he's just. But it's another red card and in the same position. Hayden a few weeks ago.
Luckily, Hayden's coming back.
Yeah, but obviously, I think I've said this before. I think Hayden and Sean Longstaff are our best 2, so we're going to have to wait till Manchester City. I know they've played there before against Manchester City and won, but I think it'll be more difficult this time. But no, look, it's difficult to say, but I'm glad it was at 85 minutes when that was happening, or 82 minutes when that happened, and not 62 minutes, because we could be talking about getting nothing again. Which would have been
take
good.
A point and run, don't you, when that happens?
Yeah, especially when that happens. A point at the start of the game. If you had offered me, I'd have been like, no, I'd like a little bit more actually today. Especially the fact Wolves played away from home in the Europa League. But unfortunately, not the case. If you're 85 minutes and it's 1-1, you're down to 10 men, and you bring 3 players on who haven't really warmed up because of what's happened, then you take the point and you run and you focus on the West Ham game next week.
The only negative that I have is Dwight Gale. I've said this and I agree with Isha again, is let's be a little bit more brave. Let's try and help Joe Litton out a little bit more, because he's so isolated. And whether he's having a good game or a poor game, he has to do, for me, 2 strikers' jobs. And he hasn't got the support around him. Almiron's playing out on the right. I don't like that. I want to see Gale come on. You had the saint-maximin up top for about 6 or 7 minutes. For me, I didn't like that. But here is Steve Bruce's what you said about the game today.
The first half, I was delighted the way we played. We took the lead, and but it seems to have stopped us. We just seem to try and then defend on what we've got, and if you give the ball away like we did in the second half and just surrender and take things deeper and go deep, then it's going to be a difficult afternoon for you. And that's what it became, a difficult afternoon. And the frustration for everybody then, with the last 10 minutes especially, we can't really go for the win because of the red card which we've picked up.
So obviously Bruce is a little bit deflated as well. Owen hasn't been to a home game for a while, hasn't he not?
He's at the next one, isn't he?
But he keeps going to Bournemouth games. So anyways, Owen's give us a little video. So Owen, take it away, mate.
To be quite honest with you, I thought we played incredibly well in the first half. We got the goal, Lascelles. It was a nice header. Fernandez's cross was insane. We've seen him do that once before against Arsenal at home last season. And, we had quite a bit of attacking threat in the first half. And, it was all right. We went into half-time 1-0 up. I wouldn't say cruising, but we were in a comfortable position. And then I think, to be honest, I think Bruce got tactics near enough spot on in the first half. Really coped with Wolves' attack well. They had some good chances, but didn't really make anything of it. And then in the second half, it all came down. Bruce's tactics weren't spot on. Whatever Nuno said to his men at half-time worked, and we ended up conceding a dodgy goal, really, and one that is very avoidable. Dubravka palms away the cross, which, yes, it was a weak one, but avoidable goal, but one that we're just going to have to take on the chin and move on to the next one, which is West Ham away next week. To be quite honest with you, where we are at the moment in terms of results and points and whatever, I would have taken a point against Wolves today, but in the way in which it happened, it's sort of got me tossed up in between taking it and wishing we had a win. As for pushing for the win and the last stages, he made all the right changes. Sean Longstaff's red card was a bit of a shame, and I think that sort of watered down what we could have done in the last 10 minutes or so.
Right, so that was Owen's thoughts. Obviously he's a little bit deflated as well. Looking at the league table, it's as you were, but overall most of the results have went our way over the weekend. This could have been the chance to pull away.
Big opportunity missed, unfortunately. You look at the teams around us. Southampton got battered, literally 9-0. Watford didn't win, but Watford will win a game, and that's my worry. I think they will catch us up because they've got a better squad than us on paper. Everton
going forward, I would say, not defensively.
Possibly, but if you look at Watford the last couple of years, they'll have enough to be above us by the end of the year. Everton will get out of it. Man United will certainly get out of it. So you're looking at teams like Brighton, who won, which isn't good. Apart from that, I was relatively happy. But it's not good for us in terms of that. It's a missed opportunity today. We needed 3 points. After 60, 70 minutes, we were getting 3 points. And it puts us a little bit higher at the table. But we're still a win behind the likes of your Sheffield United, the likes of your Bournemouth, the likes of your, Crystal Palaces maybe.
And the last thing you want is them being a must-win game.
Burnley as well.
So, obviously, the Southampton one, I was with Perez, loves them. But Newcastle, as you were, a point gained, a point dropped, 2 points dropped, let us know, of course. But before we wrap up, we're going to have a little bit of fun, because we've been asked to react to expressions. Yo, man, fam, innit? Do you like that? Expressions has, and I want you to go over and have a look at this. Expressions claims that Alan Shearer is a tapping god. Is he a tapping? All of his goals laid on him like a plate.
Yeah, the one against Chelsea when he's turned Marcel Desailly, one against Aston Villa where he side foots it in the top corner, and the goal against Everton, just to name a few, were just simple tap-ins. So he is definitely a tapping god, because you can't get goals like that if you're a tapping god. But no, I think he wanted to get a bite, didn't he? Because it isn't good.
Oh, he's definitely getting a bite, because we've been asked to react to it and we're biting to it, because Harry Kane doesn't have a statue. Alan Shearer's statue is just literally down there.
Don't get a statue for having tap-ins, do you?
Exactly. And also, if you want to have a look at that, well, actually, I'll give you a little teaser. Have a look at this.
Alan Shearer has nothing on Harry Kane. He's a goal hanger. Harry Kane, he plays champagne football. He's going to move on to win stuff. What's Shearer doing?
Now, he also said that Shearer's won more trophies. Harry Kane's never won a trophy. Shearer's won the Premier League. But Harry Kane is playing in a side which is always going to be in the top 6. Shearer, for probably his last 5 years of his career, is playing for a mid-table side. So he's banging the goals in still, and he's got the likes of Silvio Maric and Didier Domi around him.
And he's had 2 big bad injuries as well, 2 ACL injuries, or he's had problems with his knees throughout most of his career as well, and he still managed 260 goals. I think Harry Kane's only just halfway through Shearer's goals. So he's got.
He'll catch him?
I don't think he will, because I personally think he'll go to a bigger club than Tottenham.
Well, like a Real Madrid or a Barca? Or?
Yeah, I think Real Madrid or someone like that will definitely tempt him. But no, you've got to continue what he's done for another 6-7 years, which he might do, but he has to stay injury-free for those 6-7 years to have any chance. And Shearer's had 2 bad injuries and still got a 260. So, yeah, if he's got to make sure that he gets on the end of a few tap-ins to make sure that he gets towards 260.
And keep putting them penalties away, Harry Kane. You love a penalty, don't you? Yeah. Well, we want you to head over. There's going to be a link in the description. We're going to be in there in the comments as well. Is Alan Shearer a worse player than Harry Kane? Let us know in the comments down there below. We're going to wrap up as well. It's been disappointing, of course. Go back and check my radio show, which was out earlier on tonight, a couple hours long. We're talking all things about the game, Dubravka, and a little bit on Newcastle news throughout the week. Ta-ra, everyone.